Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to Coder Journey. This is the fifth episode of our series about the result NuGet package developed by Steve Smith, Ardalis.Result. I hope you've been, watching the previous videos. If that's not the case, please make sure you do. And I hope you watch this video till the very end because we're going to see how we can map the result of our operations from our service class to the type that we want to return from our endpoints. Let's take a look at our note for this episode and then implement the code in our new branch. So I have created this new branch for this episode if you take a look here, and then I'm gonna make a commit at the end of this video. Now back to our note. So this is the note that I have prepared for this section. So let's read it. It says, okay, since our invoice service now produces results that are inherently maps to HTTP status codes like OK, not found, bad request, we can implement our API endpoints in a much more concise manner by leveraging the Ardalis.Result.AspNetCore package. There is this attribute coming from this package, translate result coming from our service to action result, the thing that we want to return from our endpoint. This enables direct mapping of a result to an action result. Do you remember, if you take a look at our controller, I did this mapping myself. So this attribute, translate result to action result, is going to do this for us. So we can remove that, and make the code in our endpoint very concise. So if you take a look here in our, controller, we are returning here. We are returning a result of invoice from our action result from our controller. And then we have applied this attribute, translate result to action result. We're not returning action result like before. We are returning the thing that our service returned to us. And then here, this mapping will, will be done for us automatically with this attribute. So if I go to my Visual Studio, I can go ahead and change this action result to result of invoice, right? And then I can get rid of all of these and say return whatever this operation returns. But of course, I am going to apply that attribute here. Translate result from action result. That's it. So this makes the code in our action method very concise. There is also another option. So if you do not want to use this attribute for whatever reason, you can return a task of action result and you can make use of this extension method. So basically, we can go ahead to our code, and I'm gonna keep this guy here. Let me do something. Let me copy this. I'm gonna comment this out. I'm gonna keep this here for you so that you can take a look at it later. But now I'm gonna return a task of action result, and here I'm gonna return this dot to action result, this dot to action result, and of course this is the invoice controller, and then this to action result, if you take a look, it is on controller base and it is going to return an action result taking in a result of t, right? So then we can say inside of this, I want to pass in the result that this operation returns. What is the problem? It says can't implicitly convert type Microsoft action result invoice to action result. Return. So about that issue, I paused the video and I investigated the issue, and the problem was that we need to return not an action result, but of course an action result of invoice, right? Because basically we are mapping from a result of T or result of invoice coming from our service method here to an action result of invoice. This is done through this extension method, or of course using this attribute that I told you about. Both of these approaches are possible, both of them are feasible. So if you're a fan of using attributes, you can go with this approach. If you prefer your endpoints to have fewer attributes, you can get rid of this attribute and do the mapping using this extension method inside of your endpoint. So this helps, as you saw, making the the code inside of your endpoint more concise by removing the mapping that we used to do ourselves. And that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I think I'm gonna create 1 or 2 other videos for this playlist, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Stay tuned for the next video because we're gonna discover a couple of other useful techniques as well.